All right, board fam, the crash out is real over the Lanterns TV show. We had the trailer come out and now they're in like promo territory where they're releasing a lot of interviews, they're releasing photos, they're really trying to get people hyped up for the show. And it seems like a lot of folks out there are trying really hard to paint the show as negatively as possible before it comes out. Today, we're going to watch a video from a content creator named Verbal Riot. You may recognize him from places like Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers, Critical Drinker. He's kind of in that crew. We've never really reacted to one of his videos independently. We're going to do that today. But I also want to sort of educate everybody on the team behind Lanterns, because I think there's a lot of folks that just don't understand the creative power going into this show, which is why all of the defamation and, outrage signaling and stuff they're doing about this photo is absolutely mind-blowing to me, and it reeks of desperation. This is how desperate they are to find more things to complain about. If you look now, it seems like a lot of them are either having to admit that stuff is good, or they're just ignoring stuff altogether. But they have to have something they can rally behind and go after, and they're trying really hard with Lanterns. Now, this is the creative team behind the Lanterns TV show. Before we watch the video from Verbal Riot, I just want to put this out on the table. I wasn't a huge fan of the trailer. I had some issues with it, but the one thing that I'm not concerned about is quality. I think regardless of whether or not the show gives me what I want from the show, I think the quality of the show is still going to be high based on the creative team behind the show. People featured in this photo and other names associated with the Lanterns TV show. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting anymore. Let's go ahead and watch this video from Verbal Riot. I'm going to try and debunk and call out any of the bad faith stuff that's said. And you guys can sit back and enjoy the video. Make sure if you enjoy this content, subscribe to the channel, hit a like, and leave a comment down below whether you agree or disagree with me. As long as you keep it cute, we can have a chat. Let's watch the video.
Oh boy, y'all, the Lantern news just won't stop, man. Look, when I saw the trailer, and you guys saw me react to the trailer. Obviously, I was not happy with the trailer. I thought...
Oh, I didn't know.
I thought it was a stupid direction to take Green Lantern in, considering... that they're kind of trying to restart or reboot the universe. I thought it was dumb to go in this direction. But look, man, even when something looks stupid to me, I always hold out at least 1% of hope, right?
Oh, well, you're being too generous. 1%? So you're 99% negative with 1% of hope. Sounds to me like you're going to go in completely unbiased and give us an absolute good faith review of the show when it comes out, because you got 1% hope. Or maybe I'm jumping ahead here. Maybe you no longer have that 1%. Maybe the photo that you're going to complain about is going to take away that 1%, and now it's just 100% no faith in the show at all. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue.
Like 99% of the time, it's probably going to be garbage, but I always give room for hope. And if I'm wrong, I will gladly admit.
Okay, well, I don't know a lot about you, so I'm not going to call you out on that. Maybe you do admit it. Maybe that is something that you're known for. I don't know. I'll have to do a little more research, but I just want you guys to remember that if you're watching his content and you're familiar with Verbal Riot, please let me know in the comments if he's known for recanting or walking back, taking an L for any sort of bad faith comments he makes and ends up being wrong about. I am curious.
I gladly admit that I was wrong. And not only would I admit that I'm wrong, I will glaze that project, right? Like I will literally, shout it from the rooftops that this is a good show, good movie, good video game, whatever the case may be. If I'm proven wrong, great. I want to be proven wrong on this.
You want to be proven wrong. So I have said that before in the past about stuff that I'm really excited about when I have concerns. He doesn't sound super excited about Lanterns. Now, I don't know. He's probably talked about it on multiple streams, so maybe he's covered that. He doesn't seem super excited. Sorry about that. He doesn't seem super excited about the show. So I'm not really sure if he's going into this wanting it to be good. If that's the direction he's taking, I guess we'll find out as we watch his video. That's what we're doing here. So let's continue.
Ooh, man. Okay. I don't think I'm wrong at all. And in that 1% of hope that I had, done.
Okay, so it's 100% bad. There we go. There we go. You have no hope in the show anymore. It's good to know that something like the photo of the creative team behind Lanterns is enough to make it impossible for you to go in wanting the best for the show. That's good to know. I can't even fuck with this stuff. Like when people say shit like this, I can't even fuck with this. Like, how am I supposed to have a conversation with anybody if they're telling me, yeah, man, I'm just gonna hate it anyway. It's gonna suck. All right, so why the fuck are you even bothering? Why, like, don't watch it. Don't go see the movie. Don't listen to that album. If you know already that you're 100% convinced it's gonna be bad, then what's the fucking point? You gotta have some hope, even a little bit, a sliver of hope.
Why is that? Well, last night, chatting with a friend, he sent me over a link, a picture of the creative team for the new Lantern show. So I'm just going to show you guys.
Okay.
And you might have already seen it, but...
Okay, that's the picture we looked at earlier. I'm not really sure what the issue is here unless... Okay, so let's lay out a few possibilities based on what I know about this community. Maybe there's too many women involved with it. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's a lot of ladies, and these guys, at least what I know of this community, are very threatened by women in roles that give them some sort of agency over creative stuff. They just do not like that. They would say, oh, they love beautiful women, but they objectify women. They don't think of women as beings with their own capability of doing things beyond being there at the feet of men. And that's one of the things he can complain about. Or I could be wrong. He might not complain about that. Maybe it's an issue with the fact that the team is diverse. We see a lot of different people associated with this. I'm looking around this picture and I'm seeing a lot of faces that I do recognize from shows that I actually loved. We'll talk about that in a bit. But I also see a lot of people that I'm not too familiar with. And maybe they're going to add some spice to the show and make it a little fun. We'll see. I don't really see the issue with that. But let's see what his problem is with this photo.
This is the team that created the Lantern show.
Okay. You see that? Lanterns is DOA. Fuck. This is the most miserable fucking community to be involved in. It's the most miserable one. It's absolutely like... It's like going to a bar with somebody, you go out with your friend to have a good time, and everything is him complaining about his ex-girlfriend, his ex-boyfriend. He's complaining about his life, he's complaining about his job, and he just won't shut the fuck up. You can't even go out and have fun. You can't go out and have a few drinks, eat some really bad food, and just party all night. Dance to your favorite music. Or don't dance. Stand around and make fun of people dancing. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing, you can't do it because this person cannot like anything. Everything to them is the worst case scenario all the time. One little thing happens. I got friends where they will let one thing bother them to the point that it brings the whole group down. We're all out having fun, having a good time, and they're like, actually, and then all of a sudden it becomes a problem for everybody else. That's what these guys remind me of. They've all come together collectively to be miserable together. They were the miserable friends. And when their friends were like, we're not going to put up with your shit anymore, they had to find other people who were just as miserable as them.
Yeah. Lanterns is DOA.
Okay.
Now, some people are probably like, well, just by looking at that picture, how can you say that?
I am curious. Like, yeah, go ahead.
Did you
Give it
guys
to
not
us.
see the same picture I just saw?
Well, the video is 14 minutes. We're only like a minute and 45 into it. So you must have a lot to say. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right away, I'm not going to sit through these videos all the way anymore. Like, I'm not going to subject you guys to that. Once we get to the meat and potatoes of it, and I feel like they've gotten their point across, if they just keep going on and on and on, and they're not saying anything interesting, we're going to move on. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet with Verbal Riot.
That is literally that team. Maybe not specifically all those people, but the look. Mm-hmm. This is the team that has destroyed every IP, franchise, show,
really?
Video game.
Really?
You name it.
I would like for you to explain specifically. Now, the one they might bring up, and I think we'll hear this a lot from these guys, is the Watchmen series that came out. Fantastic show. Absolutely fantastic. But that's the one that I think they will probably latch onto because of the fact that it was about race and racism. They'll probably latch onto that. I don't know for sure, but I feel like if they're going to complain about one thing, it's going to be Watchmen. Even though it had no impact on any other Watchmen stuff, it was kind of its own little separate Elseworld story.
Destroyed everything I loved.
Okay.
Right? That
Give us examples.
looking group of people.
Oh, same looking. Hold on, let's run that back. So now we're not doing it based on who they are. This is what I love. I love when they do this. This is stepping right into the trap, right? You're putting your foot right in the trap for me because I operate on facts. I operate on reality. I don't operate on things like they look like the people. It's like, oh, I don't want to date that person because they look like someone that I dated before. That person was a bad person. Like that's the way it feels. Like you got some personal issue with it and you're projecting that outwards onto other people. These people haven't actually done anything to you, but because you have felt like this type of group of diverse people have done bad things in the past, that now you're just going to assign that to them, and it takes away the 1% hope you had left in the show. That sounds super reasonable for an adult. Nothing emotionally wrong with that. Please continue because this video is a lot longer, and if it's only because they look a certain way, that is fucking pathetic.
Video game, you name it. Destroyed everything I loved.
These guys specifically?
Right?
Oh, no.
That same looking group of people.
Oh, same looking again.
So that you guys don't
so it's just how people look. That's it now. We're not even worried about who they are, what their names are, what they're associated with. If they just look a certain way, we're ready to go ahead and just go, it's DOA. It's over. It's done with. This is low IQ shit. This is brain rot shit.
I think I'm tripping, right? Do you guys believe that anybody in this group has ever read a fucking Green Lantern comic in their life?
Okay, so this is the perfect time to do this. Let's name off people associated with the Lanterns TV show, because I think it's really important. All right. We have Chris Mundy, who is the co-creator, showrunner, and is a co-writer we wrote the pilot, but he's also a co-writer for some of the episodes. What's he got under his belt? Ozark, Criminal Minds, True Detective. These are just some of the things he's taken part in. He's been around. He's worked on a lot of stuff. He's a very talented showrunner. Damon Lindelof, Lost, The Leftovers, probably one of the best shows in the last 20 years. Watchmen. He's had multiple Emmy nominations. Now, we talked about people from comics associated with Lanterns. Well, we have Tom King, who was part of the creative team for this show. He's also one of the writers for the show, and he's an executive producer. If you don't know who Tom King is, here's a few of his greatest hits. He's worked on Batman, Mr. Miracle, The Vision, The Sheriff of Babylon, Strange Adventures, and yes, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. He's an Eisner Award winner for Best Writer. Let's continue. Justin Britt Gibson is one of the writers, one of the producers. He's worked on Counterpart, Into the Badlands, The Strain, and Banshee. Brenna Gibson worked on The Penguin and The Hunting Wives. Vanessa Baden Kelly, who is one of the writers and an executive co-producer, The Sex Lives of College Girls, Animal Kingdom, and she's won a Daytime Emmy for her acting in Giants. James Hawes, who worked on Slow Horses, Black Mirror, Doctor Who, One Life, The Amateur. He's also had BAFTA recognition. Stephen Williams is one of the directors. He worked on Watchmen and Lost. He's also had Emmy nominations. Geeta Vasant Patel is known for House of the Dragons, Ahsoka, and Meet the Patels. Alec Shakarov. This is the one person I don't really recognize his name, but this person has worked on Ozark, Game of Thrones, House of Cards, Black Sails, and The Witcher, and he's won an Emmy. That doesn't count the other comic book people associated with this on the back end that are not directly involved with the production. And there are other countless numbers of DC people that have contributed to this series and to the DCU in a bigger way, because not everybody connected directly to one project is just there for that one project. Some people are there for the whole DCU. Those are just a few of them. I don't know why any of those names would jump out as red flags. I don't know why any of the people associated to this would jump out as red flags just because they are being profiled by someone, gender profiled, racial profiled, whatever it might be. It's crazy to me that we're running on profiling and feelings. That's what they're filling up their gas tanks with. Profiling and feelings without doing any fucking research. I love when they do that.
And I want you guys to notice the dynamic of this picture here, right?
Okay.
They got the men kneeling. They got.
Have you never taken a picture in a group before? Do you not know how that works? Everybody sort of just piles in where they are. So the taller people go in the back. And then if you can't fit all of the tall people in the back, they go in the front and they kind of duck down. And everybody who's like the medium height gets in the middle and on the sides. That's how you frame a photo. So are you trying to suggest that they're saying something negative about men, considering the back row is full of men? The only men in the entire group that are kneeling are 3 guys in the front. The vast majority of the men are standing up behind the women. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's hear your big brain take on how this photo was taken.
In the back and front and center are all the women, right? Now, obviously the guys might be taller, so that they want to make sure everybody's in the picture. Bullshit.
Right, because that is the most logical thing. But I'm sure the most logical answer is not the one you're going to go with. You're going to create a narrative. So let's hear what your narrative is. Let's hear what your accusation is. Even though you've already stated that the most logical thing is about height and the way the photo is being framed, how you can get everybody into the picture. But let's hear what it is you have to say about it.
Guys, this picture is saying way more than maybe you want to realize.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know how I know? Because we've seen this shit already.
Oh, okay. So again, there's no actual proof based on anyone in that picture that they're going to do anything that he says they're going to do. He's like, we've seen pictures like this, therefore equals what's going to happen with lanterns. Fuck. This is desperation. This is absolute desperation.
We've seen this happen already. Look, man, I'm all for taking a property and doing something a little different with it, right? As long as you're staying respectful to the property, right?
And you don't know if they're not because you haven't seen anything except for a trailer. And you're profiling the team behind it. You're literally projecting onto the team. So it's not even about respect. It's not even assuming they're going to respect it. You've already decided that they're not going to do it. You've already made that decision. It's a done deal, fam. It's a done deal. And this isn't like an individual thing for Verbal Riot here. This is something that a lot of people in this group echo throughout their content here on YouTube, is that they base how they view things on feelings and vibes. That's it. Their audience doesn't care about the facts. I could list off all of the accolades, all of the projects that these writers have worked on, and they're still going to go, but look at the picture. Look at how they look. Clearly, they're doing something weird with the picture here. Can't you tell? The way they're mixing it up and making some of the guys kneel down, even though the majority of the guys are in the back, 3 of them are kneeling down, so it must be saying something. It must be.
When I heard that they were taking it in this direction of True Detective, and guys, by the way, I'm so tired of hearing those 2 words. I don't give a shit about True Detective, okay? Love the first season. Fuck all the seasons after it. I don't care about this. But they wanted to make their show based on something like True Detective. Why would they pick that route, right? If you're introducing Green Lantern into this universe.
I mean, I've asked the same question, but I don't think that means the show is going to be bad. Right? Like I've said, when I watched the trailer, I was like, this is exactly what they said they were going to deliver. And they've been consistent since they've announced the show on what the show was going to be. So we've known this. We knew that it was going to be like this a year ago. If we're continuously going, why? There's no point in asking why anymore. It's already there. It's done. They're going to release it this year. At this point, just watch it or don't watch it. You can say, I'm not going to watch it. It's not my thing. Fair enough. Again, I champion that. If you don't want to watch it and you don't give a fuck about it, then move on. I'm good with that. But if you are going to watch it, at least take the time to understand the media. They did the same thing with Starfleet Academy. They did not understand the show that they were watching, and they wanted it to be something else. If it's not going to be what you want it to be, then just move on.
Why would you go that route? And I talk about that in my other video. Now I know why. Because that's probably the only thing that they can use, right? Because look, I doubt they've ever read a Green Lantern comic. They
literally have Tom King and a DC creative team working with them on this project, which, by the way, I want to throw this out there. I'm so tired of hearing this. The people that are working on this TV show have to also have worked on comics. Do you understand how fucking stupid that sounds? To expect the whole writing team behind a TV show to also be the same people who wrote the comic books. You don't understand how fucking stupid that sounds? Do you not think that writers can take stories and expand on them without having to actually write the fucking comics? Which, by the way, I want to point out, now I'm going on a rant here. These guys typically bash comic books for how bad they are. That's what they do. I'm not saying Verbal Riot specifically. Let me just clear the air on that one. I'm saying in general, these guys typically, this community typically talks about how bad modern comic books are. So even if the people on the Lanterns TV show had worked on Green Lantern comic books, at a certain point, if it were like 2008, 2009 and up, these guys would say that doesn't count. So they don't care about that. They don't care about whether or not these guys actually worked on comic books. This is literally just an excuse to complain. It's literally just an excuse. Because we know that Tom King is associated with this, and we know that he's going to bring in the information they need to make the show work. They have oversight on that. They have people who are connected to comics overseeing it. And if you look at the other movies and the other projects that have been done, whether it be Marvel or DC, even when they have people from the comics working directly with those things, these guys still find a reason to complain about it.
I don't know any Green Lantern stories. So they probably saw True Detective, right? Because call it what you want, it was a pretentious HBO show, and all these people seem like the type. So
based on what? If you look at the picture here, do these people look pretentious? Like, I'm not even really sure what that means. So I'm trying to imagine what a pretentious person would look like. They look like a bunch of people who write stories. Where's the pretension? Is the pretension in the room right now with us? Is it? I don't really see anyone involved with this that screams pretentious prick to me. But this is the fairy tale that Verbal Riot is creating. So let's continue to follow him down the path of his own fairy tale about the Lanterns TV show. Which, by the way, we're 4 minutes in. I don't know how we get 10 more minutes out of this. I'll be honest, fam. I don't know. But I want to try and hear as much of his argument as we possibly can.
So they went with that direction. Now, what's going to happen, and I guarantee you this, what's probably going to happen.
He guarantees it. Put a pin on it. Whatever he says from here on out is going to happen. He's telling you, I guarantee this. So this is where the expertise comes in. And this is one of the issues I have with these guys. They speak in absolutes. Like, they are the only ones who have this information, and they're truth tellers and truth speakers. And everything they say is going to come true. They can predict the future. That's why I say these guys are so dangerous to the fandoms, because they come in hot like they're the ones that know it all. And they use that to gatekeep the community. It's really fucking awful.
Is Hal Jordan, right? The main Green Lantern has always been the main Green Lantern. Even though some people like Kyle Rayner, some people like Guy, and a lot of people love John Stewart. And I do.
I mean, there's been different main Green Lanterns. When you, like, this is establishing an argument. It's like a fallacy argument. You're creating a standard to support your argument. You're creating that standard. There's a lot of Green Lanterns that have held titles. I would say any Green Lantern that has held a title themselves, like they've had their own comic book series, their own comic book run, could be considered a quote unquote main Green Lantern because they've had their own title. Because I don't know what the standard, what is the standard? If you're going to establish a standard, what is it? I want you to explain to me why Hal is the standard, and he's the only one that can be listed as a main Green Lantern, even if people have favorites. What is the standard for that? Is it just you're saying it, or is there some sort of like logical reason behind it?
I love John Stewart, right? I guarantee you what they're going to do with Hal Jordan is they're either going to kill him off.
Okay, so you're not going to explain it. Hal Jordan is the main Green Lantern. No explanation. Doesn't matter if you love other people. Doesn't matter if they've had titles. Doesn't matter if they've had runs in the Justice League, whatever it might be. None of that matters. So there's no justification for that standard. But he says they're going to kill him off. So let's see.
Unheroically, or they're going to make him the villain, right? Because older white man. And it's so predictable, guys. It's so fucking predictable and boring and uninspired.
So your prediction is they're going to make Hal Jordan the villain because he's an old white man? Bookmark this, and we'll see if he's right. I don't see that being a thing. I think Hal's going to be annoying. He's going to be like an older, like uncle, father figure type character. Be a straight up villain, because villains are very specific. A villain is a very specific thing. He could be antagonistic, right? Like he could definitely be a problem for John. They could go back and forth and stuff like that. But him being the straight up villain, I just don't see how that works in the DCU. I don't see it. But I guess because he's an old white guy, they're going to make him a villain.
But that's what happens when these people don't fucking read the book.
These people. You're getting mad right now about something you haven't even seen yet, bro. Like, okay.
The reason why I know most of these people haven't read the book, because some of you are probably like, how do you know? How do you know they're not all
how do you
major
know?
Green Lantern?
How do you know?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you why I know. Because in these writers' rooms, and this happened at Disney, and I'm pretty sure it happened at Warner Brothers, they don't want people working on these projects who know the source material.
Okay, fam. So I wonder if I did like maybe 5 minutes of Google searching, looking up whether or not Chris Mundy and the creative team behind Lanterns wanted the writing team and the directors and the actors, if they wanted them to be completely devoid of knowledge about Lanterns, like Verbal Riot is saying here, because we know that other studios have done it in the past. So clearly this studio has done the same thing, because we're not going to bother to look it up. I wonder if I could find some evidence to disprove that claim. Oh, wow. Here's an article from October of last year with Chris Mundy. And here's what he has to say about it when he's asked directly about this question. Did you give Aaron and Kyle any homework, a comic book syllabus or anything like that? Chris Mundy responds, everybody did varying degrees of comic book homework on their own. And we, including co-creators Lindelof and Tom King, were there to answer any questions. But we aren't telling one specific chapter that's already existed in comics. Our characters are true to the comics, but we're putting them in a new story. So the actors didn't have to dig into a specific period in the comic books. It was more about understanding who John is and understanding who Hal is. So no, the creative team behind Lanterns did not tell the actors or anybody else associated with it that they didn't want them to know anything about the source material. That is absolutely false. And it's a statement that can be disproven right here. Congratulations, Verbal Riot. You gave me this one for free. But let's continue and see if he has any other counter evidence to an actual quote from Chris Mundy.
They've already made comments about that. They made statements about it.
Oh, did they?
Disney did it.
Oh,
Disney
okay.
made a statement about it.
Oh, but not DC.
I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers followed the same model.
Oh, pretty sure. But they didn't say anything about it. They didn't actually say it. You know, Chris Mundy came out and said that he actually did allow them to dig and figure out who these characters were. But you're not going to bring that up at all. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. Even with James Gunn, who's supposedly the biggest comic book fan in the world, he probably didn't want people who knew the material either.
Oh, right.
Now,
Man.
I know Gunn didn't write it. I know Gunn didn't direct this.
I mean, it's unfortunate that I found an article where the literal creator of the series is saying the opposite of this to a direct question about this. But please continue.
But here's the thing. He is the head of the DCU. He has storyboarded his version of the MCU. I'm sorry, of the DCU.
Right.
Like years ago.
Wow.
He knows what direction he wants us to go in. And this is the bullshit direction that he chose.
Oh, okay.
So even though he didn't direct it, even though he didn't write it, this is James Gunn's baby.
Okay.
Just like all the rest of them are.
Wow.
He oversees all.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that him being like the Kevin Feige of the DC universe, that he was the person that decided all this stuff. I didn't realize that. Thank you. I'm glad that you're telling us this now, because I don't think we were aware of that. I don't think that was something that people were thinking about.
Love it. Now, are there stories in the Green Lantern comics where he travels the countryside, does heroic things here and there? Yes, there are, right? But we also have to look at...
Oh, so there are stories like this one. So what's the issue then? So the story isn't so different from something he would do in the comics? That's interesting. Please continue. I'm trying to figure out like what the problem is.
The quality of the writing.
Right.
In some of those books back then, right? I remember a Green Lantern comic where his ring got stolen by two hillbillies.
Wow.
Who were able to use the ring to create fishing poles and beer, kegs of beer, all kind of stupid shit, right?
Right.
That was the quality of writing then.
Right. So you're saying that this show is going to be worse than that? Is that what we're getting to? I'm waiting for the other shoe.
No, don't get me wrong. I love the team ups with him and Green Arrow. Those
there's
cool,
no
right. I love the friendship between.
There was no follow through on that one. Okay, just random, just a random anecdotal story about your history with the Green Lantern. Got it.
Between the two guys, those were good stories. But Green Lantern has had a troubled comic book run.
Okay,
and it wasn't until, look. Up until that point, the best thing they did with Hal Jordan was turn him into Parallax.
Oh, so making Hal into a antagonist or villainous character wouldn't be so different from what you consider to be the best iteration of Hal Jordan. Did they turn him into Parallax because he's a white guy? Was that why? Because he's a white dude and they were like, oh, we have to make the white guy the bad guy in the comics? Cosmic entity in the comics. Is that what they did? I'm not sure. I have to go back and double check. I think it was because he was white, for sure. It was for sure because he was a white guy.
Right? That was the villain that he turned into when Coast City got destroyed.
Right.
Right? And he wanted to recreate Coast City with the power of the rings. The Guardians said no. The Guardians of Oa said no. And so what he did was he killed the whole Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians, and basically took all of the power for himself and became Parallax, right? And that was a really good storyline for a while.
Right. It's clearly because he's a white guy. I mean, that's the only reason you would make a white guy a villain in a series is because they're a white guy, according to these folks. Anyway.
Because that's all they could really do at that point. Because they had ruined Hal Jordan so badly. They had.
But wait, he was the main Lantern, though. I thought he was the main one. I thought he was the best guy. Right? You said that earlier. He was the main Lantern. Even if you like the other ones, Hal Jordan was the main Lantern. But here you're saying they had pretty much ruined him and they had to do something different with him because he was no longer good as a Green Lantern. I mean, unless I'm misunderstanding you here. Let's continue.
Had to do something to change it. And I understood it at the time. But it really wasn't until the Jeff Johns run when he brought in the emotional spectrum of the rings, right? And we got all the different rings, the red, the orange, the blue, the violet. That's, the color spectrum. And then leading that into Blackest Night, that's where Green Lantern really took form, right? That's where it became a book.
So I'm trying to figure out what all of this has to do with the picture of the writers. Because we're getting to a point now where I'm going to expect you to actually add some meat to the sandwich, or we're going to move on. We're going to end the video. So you have to connect this dot. Take the line from this point, Blackest Night, and connect the dot to the TV show for me. So I can understand why we're doing this. Because we're only 8 minutes into a 14-minute video, and we're already talking about some shit that I don't think has a lot to do with the point you're making. So let's rein it in.
Now, you have all of that history. And instead of doing something amazing with that,
right,
he's traveling rural America.
Okay, here we
with
go.
This young, cocky black guy who doesn't act like Jon Stewart at all.
Okay.
Right? And what's probably going to happen is Hal's always going to be wrong, right? Because he's the older white man.
Of course.
And Jon Stewart is always going to be right.
Yeah, because he's a young black guy. Got it.
And looking at this group of people, let me pull this back up for you.
One more time. I don't really understand what your problem is. That they're not taking like 1,000 stories and putting them into one show? Is that your issue? Because you're saying all this history. Like, where do you want them to start? You want them to start at Blackest Night? You want them to start at Parallax? Like, I don't understand what you want from the show. Now, my only real issue with the show, from what we've seen from the teaser, is I didn't see enough Green Lantern shit. I'm a sucker for space stuff. That's what I love. I'm not a big fan of crime dramas. So my only criticism really was I wanted to see more Green Lantern shit. That's it. But I'm not really sure what you're doing other than like making up a fanfic in your head of what the show is going to be based on almost nothing. Almost nothing. You've created this scenario of what the show is before we even see more than one trailer.
These are the people who are writing Lanterns. You don't think that this is going to be the wokest shit in the world?
What? So now we're woke spotting? We're woke spotting based on how people look now? So let me ask you a question, Verbal Riot. Just a question. I know you're not going to watch the video, but maybe some people can answer for me. If you were a black guy in this picture, would you appreciate people looking at it and going, this is going to be the wokest thing ever? Clearly, it's a bunch of people, diverse people, that are just going to make a woke TV show. You have not brought up one name of any of the writers or the directors or anybody in this picture and looked at anything they've done in the past, any of their previous awards, any of their accolades, any other projects they've been a part of. You haven't looked at any of it. So you're just looking at the picture. That's all you're doing. It's I don't even know if lazy is the word. It's just idiocy. It's an idiot's criticism.
By looking at this group of people, y'all, I'm tired.
So am I, and that's where we're going to end this video. This was like one of the worst. Like, we talk about these like grift channels, these chud channels, and a lot of times I'm like, they're so savvy the way they present it with clean edits and all this other stuff and things like that. I understand to some degree people's interest in tuning into those things because they do sort of grab your eye and you get roped into it. But when somebody is doing just commentary like this and they're coming in with a low IQ take, like, look at the picture, clearly it's going to be woke, and literally doing zero research, making accusations like, I'm sure that Hal is going to be the bad guy. I'm sure these people don't know anything about the comics. I'm sure that the studio told them not to look up anything from the comics. And then at every turn, I'm able to look and say, well, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And then you're just fanficking the fucking show and getting mad about it. Don't watch it, man. Don't watch it. I don't want to hear anything else you have to say about the Lanterns TV show or really anything DCU related. You were one of the channels that somebody told me, hey, check this guy out. Because he's been on some of these other podcasts with these guys. This is just low effort, low IQ shit. I spent maybe 5 or 10 minutes pausing and looking things up just to see if what he was saying was true. Most of it was bullshit. And I don't do bullshit. I don't do vibes. I don't do feelings. I operate on facts. And when guys like this get on and just step in dog shit over and over and over again, it makes it really easy for me to expose them for the kind of grifters they are.